What's going on, guys? In today's video, I want to explain to you in as simple as I can why XRP is actually, in my opinion, going to go beyond $10,000 a coin. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say, XRP is pumping right now. It's gone up over 30% in the last week. In Canada here, it's up at around $4. We're approaching all-time highs. Okay, we're in the middle of this bull run. XRP is blasting off, and guess what? Utility hasn't even kicked in yet. Most people see XRP as an asset that's just, in the single-digit dollars range. Maybe it'll go up to $10. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see a $20 XRP. Everybody thinking in that box, in that vein, in that lane, is misunderstanding XRP. They don't understand what the utility, the use case, why XRP was created to begin with, okay? So this is why XRP is created. I'm gonna explain this to you very simply in an analogy, and why market cap doesn't matter. See, because right now, XRP, I don't even know what its market cap is, but I know it's around $320 billion, okay? So in order for it to double right now, to go up to like $8, it would need to go up to $650 billion, and then so forth, right? And into $1 trillion, and there's only so much money in the world. So the market cap people are absolutely right. Like, in order for XRP to multiply like 1,000 times to go up into like $3,000 range, doesn't make sense mathematically on paper. There's just not enough money in the world for it to hit $10,000. But what people don't understand is why XRP and its utility and the value in the utility. This is hidden value in the utility and why it makes sense. Because, so imagine XRP are cars, okay? I'm in a parking lot right now, right? There's a bunch of cars around here. Imagine XRP is a vehicle. Right now on the open market, people are just buying, selling, trading, and collecting XRP. They're buying XRP, they're buying cars at different lots, and they're parking them in their cold storage wallet, the garages, okay? So everybody's buying XRP, they're putting them in their land, they're hoarding them, they're collecting them. Okay, but what people don't understand is that Ripple has been making special roads and highways and bridges behind the scenes. There's an entire structural network system that RippleNet has been building behind the scenes that are designed specifically for XRP. So the cars are actually meant to drive on these roads. So all the cars have just been parked right now. But as soon as Ripple opens up the Ripple roads for the cars to begin to drive on, all of a sudden these cars, they're not just going to be sitting anymore, they're going to be driving value. They're going to be driving value from one location to another. And this is where XRP actually begins to manifest its utility and its use case, okay? So imagine all these roads are empty right now because very few people are actually using XRP. Banks, institutions, governmental agencies, none of them are actually using these XRP cars to drive value from one location to another. But as soon as that starts to happen, guess what? The banking system, which is the SWIFT banking system, the current system by which we send money around the world, institutions and banks and governments and people send around $2 to $4 trillion a day. $1 trillion a day through the SWIFT system. So all of a sudden, there's $2 to $4 trillion that the XRP cars are going to be carrying on the Ripple roads, and that increases the value of XRP tremendously because XRP is holding that liquidity. Does that make sense? So all of a sudden, these XRP cars aren't just sitting and in their own inherent value, they're taking the value from institutions. They're taking the value from governments. They're taking the value from BlackRock, Vanguard, all of these huge Fortune 500 companies. And when that liquidity comes into the XRP vehicles, it increases the value of the vehicle as if the vehicle costs that much. So we have the two separate things. We've got the market cap and how much an XRP is worth, but then we have the utility. As soon as the XRP cars start driving on the road, there's way more value and weight on the XRP, and XRP now begins to move financial value cross-border payments from one location to another, from United States to Iraq, from Canada to Vietnam. And all of a sudden, XRP becomes a bridge currency by which Canadian dollars transfers into XRP, and XRP transfers it into Vietnamese dong in 3.5 seconds. And we can do this all over the world. So XRP, in a sense, becomes the global currency that is a bridge currency for all of the currencies in the world. It's profound. Now, that's just the beginning of what XRP actually does. That's the main purpose. XRP, cross-border remittance protocol. It's a technology to move value in the world. So when that utility kicks in, that $3.5 trillion, $4 trillion a day gets put onto the XRP ledger, and it doesn't equate to market cap. You understand? The market cap for people who actually buy and hold XRP still might be just, a few $100 billion. But the value and liquidity that is being held by those XRP can go up into the $10,000 range, $50,000 range, $100,000 range, and beyond in the future. Because all of a sudden, XRP is not just moving value from currency to currency, it's going to move value from asset class to asset class. Now, here's the next big key about this whole thing, is that in the future, everything's going to be tokenized. We have the bond market, which is a trillion-dollar market. We have the derivative market, which is a $1.4 quadrillion market. We have the real estate market, which is encroaching on $1 quadrillion. So now imagine not just a couple $1 trillion from moving money, but the entire global wealth tokenized on the XRP ledger. Now, is XRP going to get all of it? Well, we know that there's other ISO coins. HBAR, XLM, XDC, IOTA, Quant, Cardano, Algorand. All of these are going to be part of this quantum financial system that are going to be responsible for holding the world's wealth, with XRP being the #1 backbone. So as this begins to happen, what's really exciting is that XRP is going to get even higher, because it's going to start driving in the cars. The XRP cars are going to start driving real estate money, are going to start driving gold, tokenized bonds, tokenized stocks, tokenized derivatives. And all of that is going to be moved by this car unit we call XRP. So all of that value, all of that liquidity is going to be moved on Ripple's roads that XRP is moving, and the market cap doesn't matter at all. The market cap is literally all the money in the world. Do you understand? So that's where, and then beyond the world, now we could get really creative and we could begin to think about things that we probably haven't even thought about. Like, what about this? What about the metaverse? What about digital universes that begin to get created, and then all of a sudden there's new payment methods and real estate and different things going on in the metaverse, and all of that gets settled by XRP because it's a digital asset. And then we begin to think, what if we begin to colonize Mars or other places like that, if you believe in that? And then all of a sudden, precious metals from asteroids and different things, and all of that gets tokenized onto the XRP ledger. See what I'm saying? So in my opinion, $10,000 is just the beginning, okay? $10,000 we're going to hit in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. But after that, if we're long-term investors, holders, 15, 20 years, like Bitcoin, when it went from zero, now it's in the hundreds of thousands, XRP is going to do the same thing. Not for the same reasons, not for the same tokenomics, but because of the use case of XRP. Not because of the scarcity and the market cap situation. No, it's because XRP can move value from one country to another, from one asset class to another, and our economies are constantly expanding, getting bigger, and it's just more robust every single day. So XRP, guys, that is why market cap doesn't matter, and why, in my opinion, the prophets are absolutely right who've said XRP is moving to $10,000 and beyond. Some people have seen it at $25,000. Some people have seen it at $73,000. This resonates deeply in my heart. I believe that XRP, by wisdom that I've just laid out to you, but confirmed by the agreement of the spirit, the knowing and intuition of the spirit, that yes, XRP is going to be an asset class that, when utility kicks in, rests and remains above $10,000. So not financial advice, but it could be a great asset to be in for the long term, as many of us know. Love and shalom, friends. Have a great day.